What's up, potty people? Before we kick off this episode, we just wanted to give a shout out to our cousin Devin, who won our giveaway. And we just want to thank everyone who entered our giveaway. And we love you all. We want to do more giveaways in the future. You all rock. So let's get into it.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's potty.
Hello. You know what I just realized?
What?
This is episode 11.
Oh, it's so fitting because today we're talking about Stranger Things, everybody.
Wow.
Wow. Honestly and truthfully, we did not plan that.
No, we were going to do Percy Jackson.
Who went to the Camp Half-Blood at age 11. So
So, you know.
it was bound to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if not that, it would have been Harry Potter, again.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things. What about you?
Yes, I am also a huge fan of Stranger Things, which is strange because I don't like scary things.
Neither do I. Not a big fan of horror. Not even that it's
Um,
horror.
how were you introduced to Stranger Things?
Oh, that's a good question. I think our younger brother, I think he introduced us by saying, "Hey, you should watch it."
Oh, nice.
I did watch the second season with him. Like we stayed up and watched like 4 episodes. So I think it was him. What about you?
It was my college roommates.
Mm.
Yeah, I walked home. I came in and like all the lights were off, and everyone was just enthralled with the TV, which like didn't happen all the time. That like everyone would just sit down and watch something, and it was episode 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or no, I think I actually walked in at the end of episode 1
Mm-hmm.
when like the lights flickering in the shop or something.
Ooh.
And then it just like ended and they're like, "What? Do the next one, do the next one." So I watched episode 2 and Barb died.
Oh,
And I
Barb.
and I was like enthralled. Like I watched episode 1 later that week. Or maybe the next day because it was on Netflix. I don't remember. But yeah, crazy.
Oh man, honestly, like, yeah, I didn't ever really watch anything scary before Stranger Things, and then once I started watching Stranger Things, I don't know, it just doesn't, it's not quite creepy like everything else. I feel like there's always an answer for everything creepy, so it's not like super creepy. I mean, sometimes, but not really.
Yeah. I will say to this day the scariest thing I've ever seen is Signs though. Signs, it just does it to me. I don't know.
I've never seen it.
Do you mind if I give us a quick recap?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, Stranger Things is primarily about a group of 4 friends who were like a D&D group, and um one of the friends goes missing, and when they're looking for the friend, they wind up finding a strange girl who has a tattoo of the number 11. Um, long story short, because this is a very quick summary, we find out that she was an experiment of this lab um, that was like part of their town. So Hawkins lab, they're from Hawkins, Indiana. And her so she her experimental stuff was like psychic in nature, and she opened up a portal to what is known as the upside down.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is like an alternate reality. And that I think is really the only summary that we really need for this.
Yes.
That like because like really, if you're watching this, you've seen Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen Stranger Things, I think you'll get the gist of it enough to make you want to go watch it.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. So the upside down, let's talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Well, I think Stranger Things season 4 answers a lot of that question. So if you haven't seen it, or if it's just too scary, you just want to hear us talking about it, that's fine. But
Yeah,
it's
let's
sort
just
of,
put a blanket spoiler here. We're talking all things Stranger Things. If you don't want anything spoiled, just go ahead and save this video to watch for later and go watch it. It's on Netflix. You can binge it. You can binge it in a day. Don't do it at night. It's scary.
in my opinion, I feel like the Upside Down, honestly and truthfully, is just, um, I think it's Eleven's view of like nightmares, I guess. I don't know, not that's like too much. Like honestly, I think it's just another realm. That's all it is, in my opinion. I think she just has the ability to push people to a different realm that mirrors their own.
I could see that. So in the latest season, um, when they went into the upside down's frozen on a specific day, right?
Yes, the day that 11 pushes one into it.
Okay. So yeah, maybe it is maybe she created it. Wow, I've never really thought about that. I just literally thought that it was just a different realm.
Well, okay, so last episode we were talking about it, and you said that you wanted something to happen. Do you want to reiterate what you think is going to happen in it? Because I
When I
think it
mentioned that you
applies.
should when I mentioned that you should get uh Nancy's mom.
No, you said that you think 11's going to die.
Oh, I think that would be good storytelling. I don't necessarily know if she like actually will. But yeah, I didn't really think about her dying like ending the upside down. I just thought her dying would just kind of be poetic, I guess. I don't know.
So I have a couple theories on it. I think 11, she created the upside down. So if she dies, I think the upside down will also fall. But I think there's a reason that 11 can go into one's mind so easily. And I think it's because one is actually her father.
Walk me through that one.
So one, if we're going by like the series, right? Like one moved in the early 60s, maybe the late 50s because of like their dress, right?
Okay.
So one is
As a boy,
as a
right?
boy, and he was like 11 years old when he was taken by him, right? One
Okay.
one is like 10 or 11 in the 80s, in the middle of the 80s. So that means he was totally like age appropriate to have a child with somebody, and then they would be 11 years old in the 80s. Hence
Interesting.
hence 11. And so like I think that one is 11's dad, and that the reason that 11's mom was able to get in is because of that relationship. Remember how like she tried to come back for 11 and they were like, how'd she get in here? I think she used her
Interesting.
relationship with one. So that's a theory that I also have. It's going to be like a Star Wars esque sort of thing.
Wow, I've never even thought about that. Holy cow. Well, do you want to hear my theory then if we're just doing theory time?
Absolutely.
Okay, and this is what I was talking about um Nancy's mom. And I'm not smart enough for this. I totally got this off the internet. People have noticed that the promotional materials for what was the most recent season? Was it 5 or 6 or 5 or 4?
4.
4. Okay. So the promotional material for season 4, it had all of the main characters, Vecna included, I think, on like a specific poster that had the Creel house in the upside down on it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All of the main characters and Nancy's mom. But why did Nancy's mom have it? Like she had like no part in the story at all.
Yeah.
Like she kind of had a part in season 3 with Billy.
Yeah.
Some people think that what's Vecna's real name? Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think that Henry actually did not kill his sister and that Nancy's mom is his sister.
Whoa.
Yeah. How nuts would that
Interesting.
be?
That would be crazy.
Yeah. So,
Whoa.
but and like regardless of if that's correct or not, just based on the promotional material, it seems like Nancy's mom has a part to play. So just going back with like the whole Funko thing, like it might be worth it to get that.
Yeah, because right now she only has one Funko Pop, but like, yeah, eventually I think I want all of the Stranger Things because I like Stranger Things so much. It's just so it's like the storytelling of it is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's so good. And yeah, let's jump into that a little bit. What do you like about their storytelling specifically?
I like the cliffhangers. I like that at the end of each episode they always draw you back in where you want a question answered. And I guess along with that is they're very like intertwining of each other. Like all of the stories make like this beautiful tapestry. Like they're their own thread, but it makes this tapestry of like one complete story. And I don't feel like anyone got left out except Barb.
But even then, like they still answer like what happened to Barb. Like you see her in the Upside Down. You see that she's like creating demo dogs basically.
Yeah. I also really, yeah, what the heck, Barb? I also, it's just so sad to think about that she got stuck at the bottom of that pool, and that's the only reason that she didn't survive. Because it suggests that if she didn't get stuck at the bottom of the pool, that she could have survived.
That's interesting. Well, okay, when Will went into the Upside Down, was he uh I feel like the Demogorgon pulled Barb into the Upside Down. Does that make sense?
Maybe. No, I don't know if she did or didn't. She was just stuck in the bottom of the pool, and the ladder was only in like a certain spot of the pool, so she couldn't hop up and get out of the pool.
Yeah, but she was sitting on the diving board before that. She wasn't in the pool and then wound up in the Upside Down. She was sitting on the diving board. So
Maybe.
that makes me think that the Demogorgon pulled her in and she tried to escape. But like when Will got stuck in the Upside Down, didn't he just like wind up there?
Maybe. He might have climbed through the tree.
Yeah, I'm struggling to remember, but like I think he just like because he was able to hide from the Demogorgon and just everything in general in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
But Barb, like, I don't think she had a chance.
No, poor Barb.
Poor Barb. Has she gotten any work since Stranger Things?
She was in one Netflix special that wasn't really good.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Other theories. I really do think that they are setting up for Jonathan to die.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Why are you saying that?
Um, because and I think this is just kind of their reaction to people. Like I think people initially that like liked Steve more than they thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I kind of wonder if the story was just kind of going in a Nancy and Jonathan direction, and then like when Nancy and Jonathan hooked up, I think it wasn't received as well, and Steve is just like blossoming. Everyone loves Steve.
He's just so good.
Like he's honestly my favorite character.
He has such a good story arc that you just can't not like him.
Yeah, well, and like even at the end of Stranger Things 1, like he wasn't my favorite then, but like after the end of that season, I was like, yeah, him and Nancy still together really does make sense.
Like he's not as bad of a guy as you would think.
Yeah, but like also just because of like who Nancy is, like you would expect her to go for someone like Steve, not Jonathan.
Yeah.
And I think Jonathan had potential that they wasted in season 4. Like he's just like now he's just some weird pothead, and it's just, I mean, like that's not where I saw Jonathan going.
No, neither me. Well, also like I think the thing is with Jonathan's storyline, it's so reliant on Will. So if Will doesn't have a problem, Jonathan doesn't have a problem.
That's true.
And I think the story writers didn't really see them as separate characters. And they did sort of separate them a little bit in the sense that like Jonathan's in a relationship and Will is still pining over Mike. So like in that regard, I think those story writers are sort of like, we're gonna leave their stories be until we figure out where to go with it in the future.
Yeah. What if Will dies instead?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, I was gonna say that. I think Will's gonna die.
Why?
Um, I feel like Will's the key. I feel like Will has like this connection, this like uncanny like feeling. And also I just feel like Will needs his moment. And a lot of people, that was actually like a lot of reviews, that Will didn't get enough screen time in this last one.
Yeah, this last season I feel like is one of the it honestly feels like a filler season.
This one was my favorite, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at though is like, okay, yeah, because I think season 3 is my least favorite. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
That one felt like a filler.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I feel like this one is setting up so much. I feel like season 3 was kind of a conclusion with a small cliffhanger. In season 4, it just like ramped up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean when I say that it's a filler. And what I'm saying is like they had so many storylines going on instead of everyone being in Hawkins together. Like
Yeah.
you had the Russia storyline, you had the California storyline, and you had the Hawkins storyline. And even the Hawkins storyline had Hawkins in the Upside Down going on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's a lot to juggle. Like we handled it. Oh, here's another theory.
Hmm.
Um, so in season 1, they talked about like the whole casting fireball or whatever to get rid of the Demogorgon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like that's actually how you like kill things from the Upside Down is like with fire.
Yeah.
Like people have talked about how their D&D games mirror directly what's happening with the Upside Down. As a side to what I'm saying, some people think that their D&D games actually do influence what happens. Like this is like a manifestation of their D&D games. But what I'm actually getting at when they what's the name of their club? Hellfire?
Mm-hmm.
So in the Hellfire Club scene where they fight Vecna, right?
Yeah.
Um, someone kind of offhandedly mentions that like you have to have like a vampire to kill Vecna.
Yes, I did hear this theory, but go
You
ahead, keep
heard this
going.
theory? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eddie dies. I'm doing
He's
air quotes for people who are just listening. Eddie dies from bats in the Upside Down. Bro is totally gonna come back.
It would be a really big move on their part if that's how it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could be the vampire to kill Vecna.
Well, did you hear the theory that like what okay, so in their like game in the very first episode of season 4 to kill the D&D boss, they use 11, or the first person to roll. Okay, let me back up. There's two
I,
people
I know what
left.
you're getting at, but yes,
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah, so there's two people left in this like role play of D&D, and they have to get an 18 or higher, and the first person to rolls an 11, so then he dies. Then the next person to go is the only person left in their entire like group that's alive, and she rolls an 8. No, she rolls 18. No, 19. I don't remember what she rolls.
I think she did roll an 8 because I think that if they got 18, it would like it was 19 or better.
Yeah, so she like rolled 2 dice or something. But okay, so season 4 is just 11 going against Vecna. But there is another girl with powers who's named 8. So I think it's like a foreshadowing of what's going to happen in season 5.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, did you also hear this? Somebody said the ultimate ending to Stranger Things would be at the conclusion of like the whole series, to have a zoom out of of Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Will in their 40s in 2020 playing D&D, and this is their story of Stranger Things.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would be a little bit mad because it's like sort of like the dream thing when somebody like wakes up and they're like That whole thing was just a dream.
Yeah, kind of like how Hannah Montana, there's like a an alternate ending where it's just like this little girl named Miley who just like was playing make believe with her dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Stranger Things one would sort of be like if they did that, it would be like an homage to like D&D, you know?
They could kind of combine the two and just like have just a blast to the future where they're adults playing D&D or like their kids are playing D&D and like they're like, "Oh, like who's the bad guy?" and their kids are like, "Oh, it's the Demogorgon." And they're like, "Easy."
That would be
Something
freaking
like
sick.
that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And they could do a spin-off of it.
Yeah. Um just moving, do you have any other theories real quick? Because I feel like theories are really the juice of Stranger Things.
Well, that is a good point that you do bring that up. Is I feel like Netflix. I think that's one of the things is that Netflix really like gives them like the opportunity to listen to the fans. But the only other theory that I have is that Max is going to also help 11. I think in helping defeat Vecna, but I think she's going to stay blind.
Hmm, poor kid.
Poor kid.
Okay, I mean, realistically, all that whole group is going to have some part to play. Like even Mike was underutilized this time around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like once they all get back into Hawkins, which they are on Hawkins now, I think that it's going to be such a good ending. I know that they have such a big ending for it. That's another thing too, is Stranger Things is actually written. It was written season 1, and then they asked for 5 seasons, and they gave it to them. And so this whole time they knew that it was going to be 5 seasons. So they wrote it in a way that it would be entertaining each season.
That's good. It's not going to just drag on.
No, and it's not disconnected either.
That's really good. I'm excited for it. When does it come out?
Oh, season 5, I think will come out. Either it's going to come out in October of this year or summer of next year.
Okay. I feel like I had something else, but we can move on.
Okay.
How do you feel about their use of nostalgia?
Oh, I freaking love it. I think it's so fun to see all these things. Like, I love the colors. I absolutely love retro clothes. I think it's so fun, which is so funny that I say retro because that's literally like our older brother was born in the 80s. So, and our older sister. So it's like
Yeah,
their baby
and
stuff.
our other older brother.
And our other older brother. So,
I'm the
like,
first one born in the '90s in our family.
yeah. So it's sort of fun to see all these things play out. And I just really love it. What about for you? What do
Yeah,
you
I
think
really
about it?
like it too, and it's just kind of the same thing. It's like I feel like our older siblings identify more as '90s kids because like I mean they were kids throughout the entire '90s. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I identify myself as a '90s kid too because I remember '95 on.
Yeah.
I love the whole nostalgia thing, and it's like I love '80s music. I've always loved '80s music. I know you're not as big of a fan as I am.
No, I would say not 80s, but maybe 90s.
Well, but they play '80s music.
Yeah. You're like, well, that doesn't count.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
Zero credit.
But yeah, I really do. Like I think it, and it's what I like about it is they don't like I feel like they don't overdo it. I think they do it in appropriate ways.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think that Things would be as successful if they based it off like modern times?
Absolutely not. No way. 100% no.
Really? You don't think the
Yeah.
story could stand on its own?
Well, the story changes with the times. Like part of what makes this story endearing is that these little nerds have walkie-talkies,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but you put it in today's times and people are like people would have videos of the Demogorgon. People would be texting each other about what's going on. They would be calling. You know, like we're so dialed in and connected nowadays that I don't think it would work.
Yeah.
It's like I think they might have been able to make it work in the '90s, but like why would you go for the '90s when you could go for the '80s? The '80s is such a cool time.
You mean you wouldn't want to listen to like Hit Me Baby One More Time when 11 is defeating Vecna?
Is that 90s or is that early 2000?
I think it's early 2000s. Maybe
Yeah.
not. I don't know. Older babies, correct me.
Yeah. So someone who's older and like is a Britney stan, let us know.
I think something else that it does really good is play off of holidays. So like um the one that first came out, it came out during Halloween and people just want to be spooked. And the first season, honestly, guys, if you're getting into Stranger Things and you still don't like scary things, season 1 isn't so bad. Just go ahead and watch the like first season during the day and you'll be completely fine. But then like season 3, I think. Was it season 3?
Season 3 is around the 4th of July.
Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. So I think that they like, and this last one was also the 4th of July. So I think that they just are really good about those holiday releases and having that like nostalgia also a little bit.
I think season 1 was Christmas time, wasn't it? No, she pulled her Christmas lights out. That's right.
No, both of those were Halloween. So the first season was Halloween, the second season was Halloween
Yeah, that's
because
right.
they dressed up in Halloween costumes.
Yeah, they were Ghostbuster. Were they Ghostbusters both times?
No, the first one they didn't dress up, I don't think. It just was released during Halloween.
Oh, I
Uh,
thought you meant like what's going on in the story though.
No, not in the story. The second one does match up that, but like the release dates is mostly what I'm talking about.
But these guys, how okay, they always have somebody that people just love
It's
that
true.
like they kill.
Yeah, that is true.
So season 1 they wound up with Barb, right?
Freaking love Barb.
Everyone loved Barb. Justice for Barb. Season 2 was Bob.
Hmm.
Season 3,
Alexi,
oh, Alexi,
him and his little slushy.
poor guy.
Season 4, I would say
Okay, I
Chrissy.
don't know if Alexi is really the one. You'd say Chrissy over Eddie?
Okay. You said that he's not dead.
Okay, okay, you're right.
No, I forgot
Then
about him
yes,
for a second.
Chrissy.
I forgot about him for a second. It's totally Eddie.
Yeah, for season 3, I was gonna say Mrs. Driscoll.
Who is that?
There's no way you remember. I only remember her name because the strawberries we buy from Costco are Driscoll's brand.
Oh, what? Who is she?
She's like some old lady that like Nancy and Jonathan go interview, and she winds up being sucked in by that flesh monster.
Oh, that's a bummer. Well,
Yeah,
Billy, even people like, okay, Billy was obviously like a jerk, but people did want like a second chance for him.
yeah,
I think that's another thing that Stranger Things is really good about is showing like the human side of people and then the heroic side of people and how each person has the opportunity for both of those like roles, but which side are they going to take, you know?
yeah. Well, because yeah, Billy sacrificed himself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we know as viewers that he was kind of fighting against the mind flayer the entire time. Like he wasn't a monster. I mean, yeah, he actually was a pretty big d bag, but like he also was being controlled by some other world monster. you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, they just write so well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they show like the human side of people, and I think that's why Stranger Things resonates with so many people.
Do we know what happened to the other numbers? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
I bet you know where they're at.
Huh?
Dead.
Do
I
we
said,
do we know for sure that they're dead?
yeah, they're dead. They showed it in the Rainbow Room in season 4.
Oh yeah, when 11 had her little freak out on one, she wound up killing everyone else, huh?
Yeah. No, 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 no. It was one.
Oh, one killed everyone else, and then she.
One killed everyone else, and she banished him to a different realm. He thought that she was going to run away with him, because she's just as powerful as him, if not more. And she ended up realizing like what a monster he was. and she like pushed him into the upside down.
Okay, that's right. I mean, Stranger Things is one of those things that I love it, but like since I'm watching it by myself, like I'm not gonna go back and rewatch it. Like if I have time to watch something that's like just for my own entertainment instead of like for both of our entertainment,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna go watch something new, you know.
I would say I would probably rewatch it like throughout the years over Halloween. I think that's going to become a new Halloween like tradition is watching Stranger Things instead of like horror films and stuff like that. I think I'd watch Stranger Things.
Will you just watch the whole thing straight through or
I don't know. Maybe I'll watch my favorite parts. Maybe I'll watch my favorite episodes. I think it just depends on like what I'm feeling at that time. But they're also like since I've watched it, I'm not scared by it anymore, you know?
yeah, that's true, especially since you know what's going on.
Yeah. So, oh man, I do love it.
Do you know what Stranger Things is based on?
X-Men.
You are so close.
Marvel?
It's something called the Montauk Project.
What's that?
Okay, there is this town in New York called Montauk. I think it's New York, somewhere in New England called Montauk, where they were like literally doing experiments on people, like trying to do like psychic weird things. And it's another one of those conspiracy things that like you can look up a ton of stuff that like it's like all anecdotal evidence, so it's like not like legit,
Whoa.
but like it is creepy af. Like basically there was like this lab basically, and like they were doing these um what was like the experiments that the government was doing on people back then? MK Ultra, I think is what it's called.
I don't know. You're the one
Some
telling me about it.
something. Oh, I thought you might know because like I think that's a thing that's been declassified. Um, so like we know that the government has actually like tried to like superhuman humans.
hmm
Anyway, like some of the anecdotal evidence, and like I kind of hate that I'm talking about this in my basement at nighttime. But
I
like
just like go and snuggle up to Preston a little closer tonight.
okay, but there's like some freaky things with it where uh like one of the stories is that like they were like using their like psychic abilities or whatever, and like there's like this like literal like bear type monster that just like showed up and like killed a bunch of people. And
Mm.
like apparently if you like visit the site, like there's people who've claimed to see stuff like that. And like there's I think there's something about a boat too, where like there's a boat in like a boat from some war that just went missing, but it showed up at Montauk out of nowhere, which is like landlocked.
Interesting. I have
Yeah.
one word in response to this. 5 letters. Drugs.
Okay, but okay, it's something that I haven't um I'm obviously not well versed in Montauk, but if you go look it up, you're gonna sleep with a nightlight for a couple nights.
Thank you for telling me that because my mind is like a black hole of knowledge. It just, or not a black hole of knowledge, but like it has like this constant want to be like, "Ooh, something creepy, tell me." And I'm like, "No, you're not gonna sleep if you do that." And then, but it's like just like nagging at me. I'm like, I gotta know. I'll look it up tomorrow probably, and then
It's
that way.
honestly so creepy, and like I'm not endorsing it. Like obviously it's probably fake, but like if it's real, like how messed up is that?
Well, we know we've seen it. Stranger Things.
Yeah, well, I mean, Stranger Things is obviously dramatized because, like, I don't think there's a happy ending for Montauk.
Well, I just it's so interesting because I think there was a period of like, obviously like the 70s and like hippies and this introduction of like, drugs. So all these
Mhm.
stories are coming up because people's like hallucinations and stuff. people mistake reality from fantasy, hallucinations. I don't know if that's the same, but um yeah, I think that's also like a little bit of um like Stranger Things, you can tell is like obviously like it's blown out of proportion and stuff, but it's still like fun to think about, whereas Montauk probably isn't fun to think about.
Yeah, well, and that's because Stranger Things is presented to us in a, hey, this is obviously fiction,
Well,
but Montauk is presented to us as like, hey, this might have actually happened, when like your logical self is saying like, no, that hasn't happened.
well, and that's something that I do want to tell people, like, don't be too afraid of it, because like if you do watch it, it does have a happy ending. And then that's like something that's why I was like trying to convince, your wife to watch it differently. Cause like I was like, if you just watch all of it, I don't think you'll be as freaked out by it. And like, I think it'll be okay. And the reason I'm saying this is because we were sitting outside during Halloween this last time. Also, for everyone, I'm a huge Halloween nerd. Like, it's right now, it's May, and I'm already planning for Halloween, right? And so, like, um, I was like super pumped for Halloween. I got like the big bag of candy. Next year, we're probably gonna do king size because I just want people to come to my house. And
I did king size, and we only had like 4 people show up, but that's because I went trick or treating with my kid at a different neighborhood.
oh, see, I don't have a kid, and also our house is like on an off, like people walk on that main road. And I mean, we could go take a lawn chair, go sit at somebody's house and be like, hey, can we sit out here? But I sort of want to entice people to come. So we're going to like make a fake cemetery with like LED lights a little bit, like maybe get a fog machine. We don't know. Also,
Nice.
depends on how much I can sneak by Preston. But obviously not a lot because I just said that. So he's going to watch this. But
Yeah, I know. He's like the first one that watches it every week.
yeah. Um, but this little girl comes up. She's just like Max from season 4. And this girl is probably like 8 or 9. And it was the cutest thing. I was wearing the shirt that I'm wearing in the podcast right now that has Max on it. And she's just like her. And this little girl comes up, and her brother's dressed as Eddie with the guitar and like the ripped jeans and the Hellfire Club shirt. And then this little girl is dressed like Max. And I was like, hey, Max, look. And then like I like pointed to my shirt, and she like her whole face just like brightened up. And the mom comes up to me after the little girl. I gave her like a huge handful of candy. And the mom comes up to me as they're like going to our neighbor's house, and she's like, "Hey, thanks for like recognizing her costume, because she has blonde hair and she wanted a wig of red hair." And I said that it'll be fine. And nobody has recognized her the whole night because of it, except you. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I think it's like the best costume." And I was like saying it loud so that way like the girl could hear again.
Hmm.
And I don't know why I brought that up. Oh yeah, because it's for kids.
I will argue that evaluate your kid's temperament.
Yeah, I think if your kid has a wild imagination, it might be hard for him to go to sleep. But if you're willing to like, if your kid is like pretty down to earth, it might work out.
Yeah, like I mean, I think about my kid's temperament. Obviously, she's 2 right now, but just the way she is, I don't see her being interested in it. Like maybe when she's like an older teenager, I don't know. I like, but like I feel like her temperament as a 2-year-old will probably last up until she's like, I don't know, 10 or 11 at least.
Well, I think of like the Halloween parties that I had as a teenager. I think that would have been the perfect thing at a Halloween party. Like you get the spooks, but by the end of the night, you're feeling good.
Yeah, that's true. Like Stranger Things, like I said, like Signs to this day is still the scariest thing I've ever seen. And that's largely because I don't watch horror. Like I just refuse to. I don't like the icky feeling of being scared.
Yeah, me too.
And like I've seen other scary movies, and like I kind of get through them by making fun of them the whole time. Where it's like, okay, no one would actually do that. Or just being able to call out the story, where it's like, oh, they left this in that room, so they're gonna go there and the killer's gonna be there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at the end of the day, I guess I would be more comfortable with my kid watching Stranger Things than Nightmare on Elm Street
Oh,
or,
absolutely.
yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there is that. There is that. You are correct. Um,
So let me ask you this. Out of all of the kids, not the adults in Stranger Things, out of the kids, who's your favorite character?
when you say kids, do you mean the core D&D group, or because Steve is my favorite?
Okay, yeah, I did sort of set that up like a softball move. What I meant by that is not like teenage, like the I would say like Mike, Lucas,
So out
Dustin.
of the D&D kids and their girlfriends,
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
Susie.
Susie! Can I tell you something I'm so mad about? There was a GameStop exclusive Funko that was like for $3 for Susie because everyone thought Susie was just going to be like some side character. And now she came back in season 4 and I didn't buy it because I was like, I don't need that. I'm kicking myself because she's worth a lot more now.
Dang.
Yeah.
A cool like side note about Susie and her family. You know how they were all playing and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that apparently like foreshadowed exactly what would happen at the end. I think that's really what I like about their storytelling is they're so good at foreshadowing
Yeah, I would
and you
say
don't
that.
realize it.
No, but you feel like you do in the moment. You're like, oh, this is fun. And you go back and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, was I blind?
Yeah. Okay, but to take your question seriously, because I think you wanted to exclude Susie from that group.
No, I absolutely didn't. I was going to say it if you didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
We are in accords then.
Accords. Okay, what about adults then? Who's like your favorite adult?
Well, but like going to the core,
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah.
the core four, Max and 11. Out of those ones, Susie excluded, I think I would say Lucas, but I really didn't like him in season 4.
I think they were just trying something different with Lucas. I did like how he protected Max in the end. Um,
But it just felt off for Lucas. Like, well, I guess I don't know. Like, I was gonna say I like Lucas because like in season 1, he just kind of um, like he just kind of thinks everything's kind of hokey, you know?
mhm.
And he's like, dude, we don't need to do these scary movie things. Like, I think he's just got a good head on his shoulders. Like that's
Yeah.
also the actor's name is Caleb, so I'm biased.
I would say out of the girlfriends, Max is my favorite, but I do like Susie a lot. I think that was a fun addition. Um, and then out of the core four, for sure, Dustin for me.
Yeah, I mean it's low hanging fruit.
I know I'm basic.
He's really fun. I mean I thought about saying Dustin too, just because like he is really entertaining, but like I feel like he's kind of going to the annoying side for me.
I think Eddie was a weird like play on his like fatherly, like wanting a father figure. And it was sort of fun to see Steve jealous, but at the same time, like, um, I think Dustin could be like it'd be interesting to see him more mature and maybe more less like positive, more like realist because of like the whole Eddie dying in right in front of him.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that'll probably come into play this next time.
Yeah. What about adults?
Is this including Steve, or are we just glossing over Steve because Steve's my all-time favorite?
We'll come back to it.
Okay. Well, obviously it's got to be Hopper.
See, okay, now that's low hanging fruit. Papa's my favorite. Just kidding.
No,
Just
screw
kidding.
that guy. Actually, okay. Uh, Mike and Nancy's dad.
He's freaking hilarious. Mike
He's
Willer.
the
Wait, what
best.
is his dad's name?
I don't know,
Mr. Wheeler, probably.
Mr.
I don't know.
Wheeler.
I
But
actually
yeah,
really like Joyce.
yeah. Joyce is a really good one. That's also kind of low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who's not the
Um,
radio teacher?
I would say Bob. Bob was really, really cool. I think Bob was a really fun addition. I mean, obviously, like everyone expected Hop to get together. The other adult I would say that I really liked is only in one episode, and it Benny from Benny's Burgers.
Oh, he died. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool. But here's
Okay.
the thing about Hopper.
Okay.
He he has such a cool backstory and everything. Like he's coming from real life of um like he had his daughter die, you know?
Hmm.
And did he divorce his wife or did she die too?
No, she left him.
Oh, she left him. Why?
Their daughter died.
Oh, that just tore them apart.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to go back and rewatch it. But that's what I'm saying. Like his he has a really good story arc. That's really why I like Hopper. It's not because he's the cool cop or whatever, you know. I mean, that definitely adds to it. Dude owns a cabin in the woods. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bro goes at a Demogorgon with a freaking sword. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, but like all that aside, like his character is actually cool too.
Yeah, I like his character. I actually sewed the coat from season 4 for our Halloween costumes.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
I
Um,
love that.
I didn't get them done for last year, but we will probably wear them this next year.
Oh, Stranger Things again.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's gonna be a theme the rest of my life.
Hey, well, let me ask you this. Of the teenagers, who's your favorite?
Robin. Just kidding. If your answer's not Steve, do you even watch the show?
I could see Robin being some people's favorites though. Like she's actually really cool.
I do like her pessimism compared. Also, I have her Funko Pop of this last one because when her and Nancy go into the jail and they pretend to be
Oh
students,
yeah.
I died laughing at that scene. I had like tears down my face. It was so funny. And yeah, I actually had to pre-order that Funko Pop because it was like exclusive.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, for me it's 100% Steve.
Yeah. I have like 3 of him Funko Pops. Yeah, I mean, there's so many cool things about Stranger Things that I think people put aside or they're just too afraid to get into. And I'm telling you, if you guys like just one day get up the gumption, stick with it, you won't regret it.
Well, and obviously like watch it with a friend. If things get scary, you can turn the volume down and like it's one of those things that like maybe have the subtitles on because sometimes it like spoils the scare for you,
Yeah,
you
that is
know.
true. Yeah.
And also you can have the subtitles on so you can turn it down and then like you can also like talk to someone in the room so it like isn't as scary.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Honestly, Stranger Things is super cool. We'll probably come back to it with season 5 when that comes back out.
100% we're gonna come back to it.
Probably because we'll be able to like call back different like Easter eggs and stuff like that. But I think for now, I think it's a good time with you guys. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, well, and I do just want to add that when we come back to Stranger Things that I'll be able to say I called it, they died.
One cemetery at the end.
Well, I'm just saying like I've said that everyone could die, so
Yeah, yeah. Caleb's like 100% bet.
cool. Thanks for liking and subscribing and commenting, guys.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Wow.
Nerd.